case I have to turn it down for the cars. Welcome to Not Church. And I'm going to read you a little bit as we listen to the birds here for a minute. Oh, here comes a car. Turn it down. Not church. And Tom, I took my glasses off. Not church. Counterculture and coffee alternative biblical exploration. Welcome. Truth arising in the mystical counterculture with me, Reverend Peter Panagore, MDiv, Yale, independent study of Western mysticism, two-time near-death experiencer, and 40 years of heartful practice of meditation. I'm reading this morning. I decided to go with the script because I might be able to stay on target a little better, and maybe you'll like it. We'll find out. I'd like to hear your comments. I won't be responding to comments until I finish this little presentation. And thanks to Tom for that good advice too. To begin, and I'm going to be reading this, so you'll see my eyes shifting back and forth. To begin, alternative biblical exploration. To know this, to do this, one needs to know the simple truth. Talking about God is slippery. Metaphors are slippery. Metaphors are the only tools we have to talk about God. Not a name, not a description. At best, it's an approximation. Ting, ting. I think I'll turn those speakers down altogether. I had them off. At best, it's an approximation. Spiritual meanings come from metaphors. I lost my path there. That was an email that came in. I thought I had that off. Spiritual meanings coming from metaphors are found in between the words. I'll say that again. Spiritual meanings coming from metaphors are found in between the words, within the words. Metaphors are the only tools we have. And this is true of the Bible. And if you don't like the Bible, or maybe the Bible was used to hurt you or control you, it's not the Bible's fault. It's the one who wielded it like a weapon of oppression rather than a key to freedom. Every biblical passage that you'll hear today is rewoven with an alternative view as seen through the lens of heaven's light. I speak with Christian language because that's my cultural heritage, and because the stories here in the Bible can be used to point to the ineffable and help us find our inner and our outer paths. Please remember, Christian language, like all languages about God, is metaphorical. God is the ineffable and the holy with a capital W and the holy with a capital H. The holy, I say this like my friend taught me, the holy and holy unknowable. At best, you and I and every mystic can only know in part. Did Jesus know in full? If he did, then why did he say, Father, why have you abandoned me? Abba, why have you abandoned me? Dad, why'd you give up on me? Adonai, the beloved Adonai, is noetically noetic, like wisdom, understandable, only in part, only by grace and mystical experiences. When mystical grace inhabits, visits, or uplifts us, we know it. Because mystical grace, because God is self with a capital S, evident. Our trouble comes. Boston, our trouble is speaking about the unspeakable. So today's Sunday spiritual title and conversation, that was all prelude, okay? That was all preludial verbiage. Today's Sunday spiritual title, conversation. Everyone thinks they're from this world. We're not from here. No one is. But everyone thinks they are. I'll begin with Psalm 139, verse 16. Don't worry, not much. Short. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. Before I was born, I existed. You had plans for me and my days before my days existed. Your eyes saw my unformed substance before I was born. I existed. You had plans for me and for my days before my days existed. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the knew you, and before you were born. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born. Quote, everyone thinks they're from this world. We're not from here. No one is. But everyone thinks they are. No one is. My generalized video comment earlier this week, captured along Shore Road and posted on Facebook, spurred the following verbatim texted conversation that I had on Friday. TR, good morning. Going over and over a simple phrase that you said. We are. That is incredibly reassuring, Peter. Me. It's so true. TR. It is something I have known for years, but your clear and simple sentence rang a bell the size of a cathedral in me. May the ringing of the vibration inside you ring forever. On the main gateway, this is me talking, on the main gateway of the door of victory is an Islamic inscription written in Persian that reads, Isa, Jesus, son of Mary, the world, and this is a quote, Isa, Jesus, son of Mary said, the world is a bridge, pass over it, but build no houses upon it. He who hopes for a day may hope for eternity, but the world endures but an hour. Spend it in prayer, for the rest is unseen. I'll repeat it. The world is a bridge, pass over it, but build no houses upon it. He who hopes for a day may hope for eternity, but the world endures but an hour. Spend it in prayer, for the rest is unseen. That's in northern India at a gateway to a compound, like a castle, not far from the Taj Mahal. That's an aside. Back to the verbatim. Me. Everyone ascends into heaven and returns to grace. Everyone who ascends into heaven and returns by grace knows this is true. It's inside of you, TR. That's why it rings true. You already know this. You remember this. You know this because you've always known this. Long before you were born, you knew this. TR. Yes, it is because I have been here before, so I'm not afraid, just excited. Things are changing fairly quickly right now. Can you feel it? Whether or not Jesus said it, it remains as truth. The world is a bridge. God knew us before we were woven in the womb. Jeremiah 1:4. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Everyone has a touch of the prophet in them. That's what happens in mystical experiences. You get a touch of the prophet because through grace, you learn the truth in the heart of your hearts, in the heart of our hearts. And we were known before we were made. How we remember this now. I continued. Your let's see. I'm excited, she says. I reply, your excitement is exciting. Yes, I feel it. It's been underway for 50 years. And now, in this time of global crisis, it's unfolding, awakening, and enlivening. Global awakening finally here. Driven by near-death experience and medical technology that takes the tin lid hat off of the kookiness of mystical experience, which is a nearly universal thing, which is why you have one, because God has touched your heart. And if God has touched your heart, it means. And if you want God to touch your heart, it's because you remember a taste of it from heaven. You're part of it, and so am I. And so are tens of millions globally. The voice of God speaks through her messengers, metaphor, relational metaphor that's personal for anyone who loved their mother. And I know people didn't, people don't. And for every mother who loves their child. And I know that not every mother does, but most do on both sides. So the metaphor is okay for that. The voice of God speaks through her messengers. So many of us knowing the same truth of love so many of us know the same truth of love by learning it in part in our mystical experiences, the direct touches of God. And this is beautiful, and it's completely in line with Native American beliefs. And the rumbling I hear, it sounds like a low hum of helicopter blades. The phoenix is beginning to rise, she says. Good will win, she says. God will win, I say. Love prevails. God is good with a capital G, and that's how we designate our metaphors with capital letters. The answer is love, she says. Love is the answer, I say. So now is our chance. Each one of us has our chance to feel the presence of the Holy right here, right now, between us, through this lens, through our participation in the divine, in our incorporation in the light. Let it open into your heart and let it find its way inside you. It with a capital I. The I am, the I is, the light that Jesus bore into the world in a fullness not seen by people in his time. So here's two more closing mystical Christian interpretation scriptures. John 17:24. Creator, grandfather, grandmother, I desire that they also, whom you have given to me, may be with me where I am, to see my glory, that you have given me because you loved me before the foundation of the world. Creator, grandfather, grandmother, I desire that they also, whom you have given me, may be with me where I am, to see my glory, the radiance that comes from him, the I am who he is, to be with him in the presence of the light itself, which is available to every single human being, known before you were born. To see my glory that you have given me because you loved me before the foundation of the world. Loved you before the foundation of the world. Jesus means the heaven is within, the radiance that flows. Feel it. Feel this radiance now. Feel the radiance with your heart. Feel it with your hands. Feel it with your forehead. Feel it with your heart. Open yourself to the presence. Open your heart to the presence. Let it flow into you. Don't grasp it. Don't hold it. Just let it flow. Be with it. Be with it. Join in the movement that's underway. Be with this light. Let the light flow into you, and together, all of us, bring more light into the world. Feel for it, search for it, seek it, and find it, because the seeker seeks you. Ephesians 1:4 for a final word. Even as the beloved chose us from union, in oneness, before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy, pure, connected, and in death. From love appear blameless. From love appear blameless before her, capital H. From love, in love. And those were interpretations for alternative Bible study conversation. And now I'm going to swing back around and see if people are in conversation here or anybody's shown up. Thanks for listening in here from all over the world. I see Spain. It's like romper room when I was a kid. I see Sylvie in Spain. And if you were from the United States, Sylvie, in the eastern United States, you would have watched as a child in the early 60s Romper Room, which featured a magic mirror when the parents sent in the birthdays of the children who watched, and the teacher in my Boston area, Miss Jean, would read from script, but hold the magic mirror in front and see me sitting there in front of the TV and say, "Happy birthday, Peter." And it's a lot like God. Can see me sitting there. Now I have to put my glasses on because I can't see these things. Why isn't that scrolling up? I don't know why that's not scrolling up. I can't get that one to scroll up. Could you turn up your volume? Oh, my volume was all the way up, but I was just talking quietly, Lee. Sorry. I'm still learning about that. We can't hear you very well. Can you lower the outside noises? I did. I killed all the noises. I killed all the noises. Maybe I didn't. Yes, I did. Sorry, everybody. I'm still learning here. How'd it go? Could you hear me? Why can't I make this work here? Anybody there? I'm gonna see if I can. This is weird. Could you hear me, people? Yes, all right, that's working. For some reason, I couldn't see the scroll. That's better. Thanks. We can't hear you very well. Lower the outside noises. Even 15 minutes ago, I had them all down. That was just because, I wonder if they're live feeding into the computer and I can't hear them. That'd be weird. That might have been happening. Oh, you learn a new thing every day. Sorry, everybody. Did you keep hearing the squirrels? That's better, says Lee. Oh, oy, oy, oy. So did you miss the whole thing? This great talk I gave? Is it totally gone? Oh my God. Anyway, I worked on it. Just got here. Did anybody hear what I had to say? Or do I need to read it all over again? It'd be so much better if there was like a live feed. Chuck, Pat, Swamper60, Chuck, Karen, Elise, did you not hear the whole thing, Karen? Oh, you heard it. Thank you. I can't hear. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, David. No, it was great. Okay, good. Thanks, Wendy. The birds were singing away. Well, I think the weird thing was I'd have my mic up, my exterior mic up full. So it might have been feeding into the computer, but I couldn't hear it because I had my speakers down. So that's a lesson for me. I'll turn that mic down in the future. I hope no cars went by. No, it's gone. We could hear. Thanks, Russell. Stephanie. So any comments? What I'm kind of hoping is that people have something to say about what I said. Kind of open talk. Chuck, you heard. Thanks, Chuck. Chuck O. Mm, Chuck. Oh my God, Yahoo! I finally got that. He's over in YouTube. Good morning, Peter. How does a person go about experiencing a touch of God? So you got to dig your way back. If you want to, God gives this like a grace, okay? But you can dig your way back. One of the things that happened in Christianity is that they began to ignore the idea that we each have a responsibility on our side of the veil. We can dig our way back. And that's what the mystics discovered across the globe over the centuries in every major religion. They discovered that through mental focused concentration, you can dig your way. You know how everybody's talking about the veil? The veil, the veil. Sometimes there are thin places in the veil, people say. You can thin your veil. You can dig your way back into God. And when we do dig ourselves more sensitive to the light. Now think of a veil for a second. There's like a mask. This is kind of like a veil. I can see light through it, but I can't really see. Most veils, you can see through them. And the more you work at your veil, the more you dig your way back, the thinner the veil becomes. And therefore, the more light that penetrates into you. And that's the whole purpose of a meditative life, a heartful practice of meditation, the purpose of which is to thin the veil. So you go about doing that by dedicating your life to a practice of meditation and prayer. And over the time, it works. Because if it didn't work, people wouldn't keep passing it down. Never too old to learn. You heard it. Thanks. You took notes, Lee. Hearing you fine. Any other comments, people? Anything you want to talk about? Otherwise, at like 10:30, I'm gonna have that Zoom room that I meant to post up the Zoom. Let's see if I can find that. I will pop open my Zoom here, and I'll put that in all the comments here. Signing in. Put on my glasses again because I have to see what I'm doing. Mystic T. Copy invitation. I'll pop in the invitation in all the streams here, starting over on YouTube. Let's see if that goes. Hopefully that was sent. I can't see it being sent, but who knows? And in the two places in Facebook, 1, 2. So this is an open conversation about mystical experience. And hopefully everybody in YouTube just got that because I don't see it popping up. Or maybe I'm limited words. I don't really know. YouTube people, if you don't see it there, I sent out an email earlier this week. I sense through frequency in people's voices when they speak. That's what Chuck, oh my God, Yahoo said over on YouTube. He senses it in people's voices through frequencies when they speak. And that is one of the gifts of the carving your way back to God. Is that yes, it can be contained in the voices of humans. There's this your chakra right here. This space here is an opening to the holy. And as you open these individual spaces by staring at them, by looking at them with your fullness of your mind and attention, they open on their own like flowers, and through them comes the light of God. And it's true. You can hear it in musicians' voices when they sing, the ones who are connected to the holy. And I think of Amy Grant. When she sings on stage, it's like going to a concert hall in the most sacred space of the temple of your heart. It can be carried in music and voices and paint and proximity. It's an amazing thing. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert Michael and David Ehrlich. You got it. Good. Thanks, David. Religions, says Russell, seem to want to stop God's love being a personal thing, taking corporate ownership away from the personal. Yeah, in New England, Russell, back in the days after the Puritans conquered the land and took it from the inhabitants, many of whom died previously through diseases brought by European visitors by the tens of thousands. Anyway, by the time Massachusetts was established in religion, and religion and government were tied, the Christian leaders in Boston, whipped Anne Hutchinson, stripped her dress down to the waist, Quaker Anne Hutchinson, stripped her down to the waist and marched her off down to Rhode Island because they wanted corporate control of the theology, the doctrine, and the understanding of God. Mystics were dangerous to the social structure. Mystics disrupt political, church, religious, political organizations. It's totally personal. That's where God touches us. It's 100% subjectively personal, but it also can be projected and communicated noetically. That's that feeling that you get, that it's not about the feeling, okay? Don't mistake the feeling for the thing because it's also filtered through your body. But it is the feeling that you get when you're connected to the divine and you feel the flow filling you and flowing through you. Karen Elise says maybe ability to see here is extended to different vibrations with deep meditation. Yeah, I'll repeat that more slowly. Maybe ability to see / hear is extended to different vibrations with deep meditation. For sure. For sure, that's true. The deeper you go in your practice, the more connected you become to the frequency of God. It just is a side effect of it. Any other comments or questions, my friends? If not, then I will say thanks for coming this morning. I'm passing the hat. I'm Venmo, Peter Panagore, and PayPal, peterpanagore.love. If you would like to see this kind of thing continue as we begin to explore the Bible and talk about this publicly, I could use your support, frankly. So thanks. Anyway, back over to YouTube. Lady Weaver says, I became a baptized believer in Jesus Christ in 2018 after a life of practicing New Age, but I've found that since my baptism, I live in constant fear of deception. Any idea why this might be? Yeah, because the love's not living inside. Love conquers all fear. Love itself conquers all fear. Connect to the love of Christ. If that's your path, connect in to the love. First Peter, First John, First John. God is love. Connect to the love. You have no need to be feared to be deceived, as long as your heart rests in the divine. It's not about doctrine or dogma. It's really about the living light of Christ. It's really about the living light itself. Connect to the light of Christ, and you'll be fine. Keep your eye on heaven, and you'll be fine. Because it's inside us. Anybody else? Liz? Thanks for the heart, Liz. I'm not seeing anybody else talking over here. Is that sliding up? Okie dokie. Any other comments or questions? Lady Weaver, if you want to come and join us with the Zoom link that I thought that I sent to everybody, I don't see it appearing and it doesn't seem to have shown up over there in YouTube. Wish that I could send it, but any other comments or questions, then I will say fare thee well, my friends, and I'll catch you in a half an hour. Peace out. God is love. Ending stream.